BBC Sport.
Son, that's who we're talking about in the sport as well. Kane and Son, Son and Kane, you can't stop them combining for Premier League goals. Tottenham beat Burnley after Kane's flick-on was nodded in by the South Korean for 1-0 last night. It was their 9th link-up goal this season. We've only had 6 games. Their 29th combination goal in all, meaning only Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard have combined to score more goals in the Premier League era. Jose Mourinho managed both of them at Chelsea. He now manages Kane and Son at Spurs.
They are top players, but they are top friends. They are top players, but they don't want to be prima donnas. They are top players, but they play for each other. They are top players, they play for the team, and they play for Tottenham. We have a team.
Yeah, Son with 8 is the Premier League's top goal scorer. Spurs unbeaten in 10. They're up to 5th, only 2 points off the top. Burnley really struggling, just 1 point from their 5 games so far. They've only scored 3 goals. West Brom also without a win this season, but Karlan Grant got his first goal for them last night to rescue a 1-1 draw with Brighton. Their manager, Slaven Bilic, is unhappy though. Really disappointed, he says, that defender Ahmed Hegazi was allowed to leave, having been assured he'd stay.
He's got experience, he's a top professional, he's a quality player, and I wanted him to stay. He wanted to stay, but then something happened, and then he is off. Although I had the assurances from the club that he's going to stay. I'm really disappointed in that.
You know how good can sometimes come from bad? Well, Premier League fans boycotting pay-per-view games on TV have raised over £300,000 for food banks and other charities. Having to pay almost £15 a game looks like it will continue, though, until at least next month's international break. The Premier League clubs are going to meet and have a little chat about that today. The Newcastle owner, Mike Ashley, raised his head above the parapet yesterday to call for it to be reduced to £4.95 a game until Christmas. His representative is Keith Bishop.
He wants everyone to push this forward. He wants to help the smaller clubs as well. You know, Mike is a huge football fan, and he wants to see revenue go to the Football League clubs who are struggling at the moment.
We're going to speak to a member of the Newcastle United Supporters Trust after 8 o'clock today, so we'll get their view on that, Mike Ashley, and the wider pay-per-view issue. Clubs also will discuss pay-per-view later today. Leicester, by the way, were the only club to vote against pay-per-view games initially. Tonight, 5 Live Sport brings you Marseille, Man City in the Champions League. Sergio Aguero is injured again. Looks like he could be out for a month. Gabriel Jesus is also injured, so there is no out-and-out striker in Pep Guardiola's squad.
We thought about it, another maybe type of striker, but we could not. You know, when you decide to buy a striker, you have to be a striker in the level from Gabriel and Sergio, and you cannot afford it.
Manchester City couldn't afford it. It's also Liverpool against FC Midtjylland tonight, and we will keep you updated in 5 Live Sport. Across the continent, AC Milan's perfect start to Serie A is over. They were the last team with a perfect winning run in the Big 5 leagues. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored twice, but couldn't avoid them drawing with Roma. Scotland have stood down Sean Maitland from their Six Nations squad to play Wales this weekend. Maitland was one of those COVID in the Barbarian bubble breakers last week in the Barbars squad that forced the cancellation of the England match at Twickenham. And St Helens' 10-game win streak is over. They lost 12-10 to Salford. They still top Super League, St Helens. Salford's coach Ian Watson also confirmed last night he turned down an approach from Hull FC. Leeds also won 28-24 at home to Castleford.
BBC Sport.